that happened that ended up a gas chamber in Poland, and going back to the First World War and the demise of all these empires, and you know how, you know, ultimately, as you know, the First World War started there by, you know, the assassination in Sarajevo, and all of that fed into all these ideas that were going on in the German psyche at the, you know, during and after the First World War. The hatred that you know, a young corporal who had been sitting in the trenches, who was fully aware of the Serb nationalists and how, you know, all of this had led to this tumultuous event in the First World War, and how that led to sort of the alliance, or reinforced this alliance between German nationalists, Croatian nationalists, and everything else subsequently happened there. So it's all, I think, you know, the interconnectedness of all this is important, but also how these things don't get resolved. And so, because it wasn't resolved, it fed in. Okay, Tito had his attempt to sort of, you know, wash all over it, and this is really what we're trying to learn. Start this conversation all about identity and how we've got to deal with it in an open way to deal with ours. Because, you know, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, you thought, well, you know, what was then Yugoslavia was a great model of reconciliation and stability, and you know, wasn't Tito a great leader? Never mind all the atrocities that he committed himself. He's probably got to say Kagame one day. You know, I was saying it already. But you know, you know, yes, he held it together by authoritarianism. But below the surface, the identity of nationalism hadn't been dealt with. There hadn't been social justice, and you know, it comes back to the old mantra: you can't have sustainable peace without justice. And because that didn't happen, because you didn't have this openness, this open debate, discussion, you know, the events in the 1990s happened. And I know that the response to the 1990s was completely different to sort of Tito, and that there has been an attempt at some sort of justice, but it's still very superficial in the circumstances.
That's great.
Is that helpful, Richard? I don't know.
It's very helpful.
We could
It's
talk
very helpful when you're
we could talk all day. Anyway, so seriously have a great trip there. I mean, I just think that, you know, what is there, you know, what is out
If
there.
I wonder is a lesson in all the positive things that can be done after a genocide to help rebuild. I mean, particularly featuring Aegis' work, and Bosnia is the opposite lesson, is it not?
Yeah.
That's the way not to do it.
I was just saying that, you know, you've written in your absence that you and others have been trying to get Aegis to go out there and do programs. I just think it's hideously complicated, and we haven't got the capacity. I wish we did have. I hope that one day we will have such confidence in the programs. Although Rwanda's a good lesson in how to do things, it's very far from there at the moment. They've kind of got this stability, but you know, if anything happened to Kagame, for example, I mean, who knows what would happen out there. So what I like to do is think we've got, you know, maybe 3 or 4 years, have enough confidence in the methodology out there that it could be applied, but maybe not us, maybe someone else will publish what we're doing, and somebody else will do that. Or maybe you'll do it, maybe you'll do it.